Dr. Colorado also comes up with a fine mix of characters for History Colorado's Halloween party at one of our state's creepiest mansions. This year, Ginny Rogers, the famous Market Street Madam, will share some titillating tales of Denver's old red light district. And fortunately for us all, Dr. Colorado has resurrected Ginny Rogers in the form of Katie Ordway. Nice to see you both. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Colorado, why did you decide to pick the legendary Market Street Madam for this big party?
Well, as you can see, she's the most beautiful
Yes.
of all the madams there. And she can tell the story of Market Street when it was the heyday for the brides of the multitude.
Ooh, my. And this is happening at Grant Humphrey's mansion, right?
Right.
Okay, why do you feel Katie's a perfect pick for this madam? Because she's
great-
beautiful?
And she's also very bright.
Yes.
And she knows her Colorado history.
Very nice. See, and I really do think over the years how you've taught your students have paid off, because now they want to come back and they want to help others and portray these characters. Isn't that right, Katie?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's very cool. How did you get into portraying the legendary street market madam?
Well, I started out as a grad student of Tom's a while ago. We'll just leave it at that. And he's always looking for students to play various characters, whatnot. So over the years, I've built up both the wardrobe and the knowledge base to do this.
And your character, Ginny Rogers, is intense. There she is. She allegedly shot her husband. Why?
Well, she met her husband. She's actually an avid horsewoman, or was, I should say. And her husband, first husband, was her driver. And she eventually set him up with his own bar in Salt Lake City, because absence does make the heart grow fonder.
Of course.
Well, when she went out to visit him in Salt Lake City, she caught him in a compromising position with another lady. And so she shot him in the arm. And her official reason to the police as to why she shot him was because she loved him. Now, as you can imagine, this caused a bit of an estrangement between the two, although they did eventually reconcile.
What?
And yes, they did get back together.
That's crazy.
And they're actually buried together at Fairmont Cemetery.
Wow.
Yes.
She's like, you're going to be buried with me or I'm going to shoot you again.
That's right.
And you're wearing stunning emerald earrings, and that
Yes.
was her signature.
Yes, they were, although she did eventually have to pawn them, in part because of the second husband, who was a bit of a spendthrift.
Ooh.
Yeah, she was also suffering from a kidney disease towards the end, and so to continue to
My goodness.
pay her bills and whatnot,
She had to pawn them. How did she come up with the money for the first bordello in town?
Well, this is a great story, although it's very difficult to prove because blackmail is involved.
Oh.
One of her lovers from St. Louis knew a man whose older, wealthy first wife had mysteriously disappeared, and suddenly there's a younger, hotter trophy wife on the scene. And he came up with this plan to accuse this man of murdering his first wealthy wife, and they were going to plant a body in the backyard, essentially.
Oh my gosh!
If they didn't come up with the money. And so supposedly that's where she got the $17,000 that she purchased.
She was crazy. She was cuckoo.
Astute businesswoman.
Astute business, I guess. My gosh. And then the story of those stone faces on the facade of the House of Mirrors.
Right. There's a couple of different versions of that. One says that one of the faces is the blackmail victim and the wife and all the characters involved there. Another story actually says that this was an homage to her life back east, that one of the characters might be a child that she had had from a previous husband.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, before she even came to Colorado.
So she was married at least 3 times.
At least.
Okay.
And then there was another one that she wasn't married to, but they presented themselves as man
As
and
being
wife
married.
for a while.
Of course they did. I'm sure money was involved there too. And her house still stands, kind of a landmark, right?
Yeah, it's Maddie's House of Mirrors today.
Why do they call it that?
Well, towards the end of her life, she actually got out of the business for a while. And so, liquidating her properties, she sold them to one of her rivals, Maddie Silks, who then took it over and then actually tiled her name on the front steps.
And that's Maddie Silks right there. How interesting. Man, you have done your homework. You really know this character for sure. Dr. Colorado, what is the building now that was once Ginny's old House of Mirrors? What's there?
It's now,
The
Katie
Silks?
mentioned Maddie's Silks House
Okay.
of Mirrors. It's owned by Lodo Bar and Grill next door, and they lease it out for special occasions.
Oh, gosh, I can imagine what those special occasions are. And who are some of the other characters that are going to be on the Halloween party?
Well, Dennis Gallagher is going to lose a lot of weight and play Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, wow, fun.
With Do the Raven. And we're going to have A. Humphreys himself, the man who accidentally pointed his shotgun into his mouth and accidentally pulled the trigger and accidentally blew his brains out.
Why is
We're
the
gonna
word
hear that full story.
accidentally in there so many times?
That was the way his family reported
Said
it.
accidentally.
Yes.
What character are you going to portray?
I'm going to be the Undertaker.
And that's why you're wearing the top hat today?
Right.
So spooky. Our Colorado trivia was about you. Now, over 40 years, you've been spreading the love of history. Can you believe 40 years? It's been that long. Here's a picture of you. Amazing.
I had dark hair once and a dark beard. Imagine that.
Good looking man. There you are. And are you still just loving life, what you're doing, continuing?
Yeah, I love the teaching at CU Denver. We get great students like Katie who make great performers.
Well, thank you very much. One day we're just going to have to sit and talk about some of the highlights over those 40 years. And thank you for coming on the show, Katie. You did a wonderful job portraying Jenny. Yeah. Join Dr. Colorado and Katie Ordway, also known as Jenny Rogers, Dennis Gallagher, and a host of other ghosts at this fundraiser for History Colorado. It's happening Wednesday, October 21st at the Grant Humphreys Mansion. Now, the address is 777 Pennsylvania Street, and the spooky stuff starts at 5 p.m., which includes libations and munchies. Reservations are required through History Colorado. So give them a call. It's 303-866-2394. That's 303-866-2394.